What's up, everybody? It's Eric, and we are back again with Biz Talk, the show. And of course, we try to bring as many entrepreneurs to the deck to give you, and not just entrepreneurs, but agencies and pros, you name it, anything that's going to help your small business thrive and grow, help you relate to people's journeys, whatever the case may be. The goal is to inspire you in some way. Today, I have I would say like you're the little engine that could. Right? I would say that you're just, what does it say in your profile? Like a little girl, unstoppable, something like that. Like
the little girl who never backed down.
The little girl who never backed down, yeah. And that's probably not because you're short or anything, right? It's just because you're a tough ass. I am with Melissa Ambrose of Acorn to Oak Media Group. And Melissa weren't you like forced into entrepreneurship more or less at a young age?
I was.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I ended up working for my father's billing service and collection agency in my early 20s, and then I ended up running it. He had a handful of really big accounts. One of the large accounts was absorbed into a big merger, so that was no longer coming in. So I decided to do more of the sales kind of work and learn the business, learned how to basically promote the company. I started doing newsletters to former and existing clients, and it was the year 2000, so the internet was basically just starting out. You were, hearing the screeching noises when you logged on to AOL. And I built a website for the company. I had a Spanish-speaking language page. I found a guy in Woodland, Texas, who could do checks by phone or online. So I made a lot of changes and innovations, and at the end of the day, my dad decided to get out of the business, and I just naturally kind of took it over.
Yeah, so sort of, but you didn't go to college for this, right?
No, I was going to college for business administration, and I was actually at Brookdale. I was going to Loyola in Baltimore, and when the big accounts stopped sending, accounts over, I kind of needed to go to community college and keep the cost down for the education part of it.
So as a small business owner now, because you did a stint, you worked for a company in their media sales and media department, but at some point you launched Acorn to Oak Media. You got out on your own. Obviously you were probably not respected and recognized, and you probably, for your intelligence and your knowledge, I know you, and I've known your work, and I think you I would digress to you almost any time of the day, because you have an exquisite knowledge of what, in the ad space, and so now here you are, you have your own business, Acorn to Oak Media. When did that take off?
So I started it in 2016 when my daughter's 11 now, and when I was pregnant with all of my kids, I had to go on bed rest. So after I got out of the collections business, I naturally, I like the sales and the marketing, and I happened to take a position in Philadelphia as an account executive for a newspaper called Metro. And I learned the ad business that way. I, kind of didn't know it. I learned the business. I stayed in the industry. After newspapers were, print media was
dying.
I went over to CBS Philly. I was selling digital. So I was kind of doing that sort of thing. But when I became pregnant, I had to go on bed rest, and I kind of was exhausted by the business. I was, looking to kind of change things. And I had clients, that I had used to work for, in different, with different companies who would call me for advice. Even when I was with those companies selling their media space, I was always honest and open, and I took care of my clients.
So when you launched in 2016, did you start just out of the gate, here's my business, or was it a part-time? Did you work yourself up? Like, what was that?
Yeah, so I was sitting there on bed rest, and one of the people who would constantly, like, you know, sometimes ask for advice, asked me if he could pay me to do his marketing. And I was like, hey, you know, why don't I explore this? So I started out with like $1,000 investment, opened a bank account, and had more clients that I was able to bring on. So it was a handful of small businesses, and I was doing social media. I was learning web development. I was always that ad rep that would drive the designers crazy because, you know, I was...
Perfection, right? You
yes.
gotta get it right.
So I learned how to do it. I learned how to design things, and it was slow going, and life kind of had, you know, personal things in my life. I was in a marriage that was,
right,
you know, difficult. So I had to
so
go back to work.
you had to make choices, and you drove, you know, and you already had an entrepreneurial background. You're already in sales, which is its own sort of entrepreneurial thing. You have to have a drive and whatnot. And now here you are, this expert in digital media, or becoming an even better expert in it. You launch your company, and that was 2016. This is now 2024.
Yep. So
right?
2 years ago, I left my full-time job selling advertising, and decided to, you know, with everything that I had reabsorbed and updated technology and the, you know, basically I was selling what I could do, and I decided to stop doing that.
So you went full time. So you took the leap, right? You took that leap.
It was scary, yeah.
It was scary. So what's one of the obstacles you was, first of all, you're at a disadvantage in the world. Let's just be real here. You're a woman, mm-hmm. which everybody, no matter how much we go out there and we say, you know, support small women businesses, there's still an obstacle. There's still people out there that raise an eyebrow. And we know that's true.
Absolutely.
You know, but aside from an obstacle like that, Jeff, what's an obstacle? What's something that got in your way, or maybe it's currently in your way?
Well, there's misconceptions about agencies. So a lot of small business owners are like, well, I'm a mom and pop shop. I can't afford an advertising agency, but that's not true. A lot of times they're doing it themselves. They're buying media from media companies like the ones that I worked at, and they're paying a high markup for their ad spend.
And they're ending up in Texas.
Yes, exactly.
That's another one, right?
Exactly.
It's another obstacle.
So they're trusting these companies to put their, you know, messages where they're supposed to go, but they're paying a premium for it. They don't realize that they are. With an agency, you don't pay any more than you would for a normal ad spend. We're managing the ad spend, so we actually have your best interests at heart. And in addition to that, we get a agency discount, so there is no extra cost.
Right.
We negotiate those rates with those media companies if we are using those outlets.
So it's really almost like, it's really knowledge, right? It's not just sales pitch out there. You have to be able to sell this information or this idea or this understanding to people, but it really just comes down to the knowledge. There's myth that they get ingrained in, right? Or they get wrapped up in. It's
or
like
they get burned.
They get burned, right?
A million times.
Yeah. So, and that's, you know, you have other obstacles to face, and it would be easier if small businesses were a little bit more, and I don't want to say educated, but let's just say aware of how the system works, but that's difficult.
But that's where
right?
we come in. We teach them.
Okay,
we're showing them. We have do it for you tools, or we have do it yourself tools. So we have a bunch of tools that are outside of the realm of what normal agencies would provide. So everything from a, you know, under $50 a month social media scheduler. We have products for a lot of different things. So they could be advertising, they could be websites, they could be social media, they could be Site Squirrel, where we're identifying
dropping
traffic.
Dropping the plug, Site Squirrel.
Yeah, but it's there's a lot of tools that are very inexpensive, and a lot of them are
So-
do it yourself.
So let me ask you this, and this is the question, right? Because everybody's an ad agency, everybody's a marketer, everybody's a this, or that, the other thing. Now I do branding, and I know that half the people out there that say we do branding, they don't know what branding is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's one of those things that gets on my craw. If the people still say that, anyway,
Like grind your gears.
grind your gears. It grinds my gears. Gets under my tit. What is, and again, suddenly everybody's an ad agency, but meanwhile, they might be like, oh, I'm an ad agency, and they try to do their social media, and here they're doing LinkedIn, and that makes them an ad agency.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are burned by that.
Yes.
So how do you get around that?
Well, I think that a lot of times it's word of mouth, so joining some of the local chambers of commerce and, being out there and doing, sessions, hosting events where we're speaking about, best practices for email marketing. We're speaking about some of the newer technology that's out there. Because that's a full-time job, just staying, up to date on that. And small business owners are running their business. So really, it would be another full-time job, or they need to hire people internally. That's another thing. We also are an outsourced marketing department. So there may be companies that don't want to do it internally anymore. It's expensive. So
There's salaries and benefits and overtime or undertime, whatever. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. And to have experts on your staff, they're not cheap.
So where can we find you on the web? And let me make this very clear. You're not just in New Jersey. You have clients. Like I know that you have a client we're working on with Georgia, and you have other clients. So you're national. You do national work. But where can we find you on the web?
It's really easy. It's oak.com.
So A2OAK, that's on the screen.com. Is there a phone number and email address they can reach you at?
Absolutely. The phone number is 732-517-3872. And my email is Melissa B, as in boy, at A2OAK.com. You can also reach our team at sales@a2o.com.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having
Always
me.
awesome to hang out with you. Folks, you know the drill. You need to level up your game. You can't be running it. You can't be wearing every hat. You can't be catering or slaving to your clients or customers. You have to be on top of your game. So that means that you have to spend money to make money, and you have to take chances, which you already know if you're an entrepreneur. And you know the rule. Entrepreneurs make shit happen. So you need to go out there and make some shit happen.
Absolutely.
And we're out.